Oh, my computer is having a Monday, but we made it. I'll give you a second to hop on, guys. Welcome to our Monday Soul Deliciousness. We are going to talk about the 13 laws of universal energy and why they are so very important. And, after I learned about these, I felt a little bit, let down by my tribe, by my family, by my culture, because I had never been taught about these. And when I start telling you what they are, if you've never really heard of them before, maybe you've heard of them, but you haven't really dived into exactly what they are or how they can affect your everyday life, then it's going to be a little bit of a like, wow, that's something new to think about. So, first of all, man, I was going to show you guys some stuff. Like, let me grab them. I was going to grab them and then I didn't. So, my office is kind of a hot mess express right now, but that is how I roll. I roll like that. Okay. I am the queen of Halloween. I am the queen of pajama pants. I am the queen of loving your inner child. So I have to show you this. Like, I found this and I am so in love with it. So obviously Sally, but have I never seen Sally in a dress like this before? But it is a Disney collector's piece that I scored online. And I'm a little bit sad because somewhere right here in her dress, of course, because it's, made kind of chintzy, but this is a Disney Enesco piece, but it is a tiny bit broken on her dress. And I'm like, I'm not gonna go through the hassle of mailing this back when I can probably get a little bit of black paint and fix it. So we just go with that. Also, look how cool this is. I got this in the mail. Isn't this fun? This is a little Scentsy warmer. I haven't used it yet, and I left the plug back there. But you plug it right in, and it's their little bathtub with shock, lock, and barrels bathtub. So fun. So thank you to Miss Lisa who sent me that with some delicious little melts to put in it. So much appreciated. Since of course I am a little bit of a fan. Okay. Before we talk about the 13 laws of universal energy, I have to tell you something that is really, sometimes things just happen and I'm like, man, I got to talk about this. So this is something that I say to myself all the time. Okay. It's really important. It could potentially be one of the most important things that you can use as a tool in your toolbox. So write this down. What is it about this situation that is making me want to react? So I'm going to give you an example. I feel like I'm having some really big struggles this year with my son's teacher. And this is new for me. I've never had this issue with any of my other kiddos. I never had this issue with my with his previous teacher when he was in kindergarten. And so as this continues to go on, I have to keep asking myself this question because initially when I read the emails that I'm getting really upset. I'm getting really upset and I'm getting really defensive. And so I need to pull myself back from that so I'm not reacting out of something that's causing me to feel this way. So what is it about the situation that's making me want to react? And you have to sit with yourself and be really honest. Like, what is it? Is it something from my childhood? Is it from myself feeling like, I had a teacher that was telling me that making me feel like I wasn't smart enough? Is it from my own parents making me feel like I'm not smart enough? Hello. Hi, Amber. What's causing the defensiveness? What's causing the anger? Am I feeling like, there's some accusations? So to be 100% honest with you, I just barely got this email. So I haven't actually sat with myself and figured this out. But before I react or before I respond, it's really important that I ask myself that question, because am I projecting? Because when we get emotional over something, we are projecting ourselves back on to the person. And that is not a good situation. And so before I respond to the teacher, before I have a meeting, I need to decide, why am I reacting that way? So I had to throw that in there just because it's something I was dealing with right now, and I think it's really important. But let's talk about the laws, the 13 laws of universal energy, and how we can incorporate them into making sure that we're in alignment. So I was never taught the laws of universal energy. I was taught the 10 commandments and how I needed to follow all of those, or I wasn't going to go to heaven when I died. But this is, I would say, the way that you can look at it if you were raised with those tribal beliefs of the spiritual, really religious background, that these are the spiritual 10 commandments. Only there's 13 of them, that will help to align you so that you can be at that higher conscious level. Now, why do we care and why do we want to be at this higher level of consciousness? So the reason for that is because ultimately, getting yourself to that space is where beautiful things start to happen for you. So I'm going to give you an example, which is such a simple example, but really, when you get to this space, the stress level in your daily life starts to really go down, and things just start happening for you. And then you'll look back and be like, wow, that was pretty cool. So this morning I'm trying to leave and I have no idea where my little, I have this little, I wouldn't even call it a purse. I don't really do purses. It's a little purple handbag that I have that's just barely big enough to keep my little wallet in and my calendar. And I cannot find it. And it is dark in the house and I can't turn on lights or I'll wake other people up. And so Dave likes to be a night owl. So he sleeps on the couch, not because he's in trouble, but just because he likes to stay up really late. And that's where he ends up. So I don't want to turn the lights on and wake him up. And so I'm like, I need to find my bag. It has my driver's license in it. I don't like to, drive without it. Obviously, if I get pulled over, whatever, if I need to, stop or something, then I don't have any of my stuff. So I'm looking, and then finally I'm like, I'm just going to go to work. I'm not going to worry about it. I need to leave, and I'm not going to worry about where my bag is. And so I go to refill my water bottle, which I normally don't do before I leave. I normally wait until I get to work and then I fill it up. So just for some weird reason this morning, I decide to fill my water bottle up, and I have it sitting on the counter and this is also not the space that I always set my bottle to fill it up. And I get my little stick of water flavoring and I open it up and I dump it in and I drop the top of it onto the floor, which I don't usually even pull it off all the way. It's usually still on there, but I pulled it off all the way and it dropped onto the floor. And it's dark in my house. So I go to pick it up, and lo and behold, I see the handle to my bag, and it's sitting underneath one of the chairs of the kitchen island. It's gotten underneath there and I can see the handle. And so I find my bag. Without trying to find my bag, I find my bag. That's how it works. When you are aligned with stuff like that, when you're aligned with your higher level consciousness, you're balanced emotionally, you're balanced physically, then things like that happen. Now, it's because I stepped back and was like, whoa, I'm allowing my energy to be spent on getting upset or getting emotional, getting anxious about the fact that I can't find my bag. And I just chose at that moment to release it and let it go. And what happened was, my subconscious knew where my bag was. My cognitive mind didn't remember, but my subconscious knew exactly where my bag was because I probably put it there. I probably put it on the chair and it went under the chair. So it's that connection between your cognitive subconscious mind, like without even knowing it, my subconscious is communicating to my mind, but energy is allowing me to go through the steps of refilling my water bottle when I wouldn't normally, standing in a spot where I wouldn't normally, tearing off the top of my thing where I wouldn't normally, dropping it on the floor so I can see my bag. It sounds crazy, but that's how it works. So let's talk about how you get yourself into alignment. One of the ways is by understanding the laws of universal energy and being able to follow what those laws are. Okay, so the first one is karma. Karma, we've all heard of, right? Aunt karma, sister karma. Karma is the balance. It's called absolute law, and it is the balance of all things. So all your actions contribute to what you are and what you will be. The problem with this very first law is that by nature, we want to control it. We want to be in charge of karma. We want to get vengeful. We want to have the same thing happen to other people that's happened to us. We want to take revenge. And for some of us, this is taught, you read about it, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. What comes around goes around, which is all true, but you're not in charge of doing the karma. You have to let karma play its thing. Or, I was always taught, like, you are the judge. You have to let God take care of it. And nothing could be truer. Now, I belong to some Facebook pages where I see people all the time say, oh, I want to do some energy against this person because they did this to me. And I actually see people get involved in this and they're like, oh yeah, you should do this to them and yada, yada, yada. When you don't understand this absolute law and you decide to take revenge on someone else, just remember that that check that you're writing out to them is depleting your bank account. And you only have so much energy to give. So don't do that, because it literally comes back as a bounce check. For those of you that are too old to know what a bounce check is, basically means that you used your debit card and you overdrafted your account, okay? So don't do that one. Second, your purpose is to evolve at a soul level. Evolving at a soul level, what does that mean? It means looking at things at a different level. So when I talk about forgiveness, and I did a great video on this one last week. When I talk about forgiveness, most of us have it in our head that that means that we forgive someone. So we're saying, oh, yes, I forgive you. That's really not what forgiveness is at all. Because when you do that, or we take two kids and we force them to apologize to each other when they really are angry and they don't want to apologize, we're teaching them to lie. We're teaching them to lie. We teach ourselves to lie because I'm not really sorry, but I'm forcing myself to tell you that I'm sorry. And that really isn't what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is allowing yourself to accept what's going on, but holding only yourself accountable for things. And really, basically, when it comes down to it, not worrying about what other people are doing. So we're developing ourselves at a higher level, understanding that it's not worth being upset with someone, because when you're leaving a little piece of your soul, a little fragment of your energy stays back in that space, and you only have so much of those little pieces of energy to give. And when you leave your energy trapped in a space, then it continually sucks energy from you if it's negative. Now, if it's positive, it continually gives back to you. But if it's negative, it will continue to take from you. So that's why it's important not to have things in your past that you are stuck to. And you know that, you feel it, right? If there's something in your past, like, you can sit with yourself right now and think about the thing that feels the most heavy, the most thick, the most murky from your past. And that is sucking your energy out all the time. Even when you're not thinking about it, it's still sucking energy out of you all the time. And so that's why it's important to work through those things. Okay, the third one, learning through compassion and love. So we can either learn and look at an experience and look at it from a love and compassion point of view, or we can look at that same experience and we can be bitter and hateful and resentful and have resistance to it. For those of you that believe in reincarnation, that's where this comes into play. You're going to keep going through it over and over again. You're going to keep getting born until you learn love and compassion. So, I mean, I tease one of my kids all the time, and I'm like, if you keep being all negative like this, if reincarnation is real, you're going to come back again. Is that really what you want to have happen for yourself? And it's kind of a joke that we have. If you believe in, not in reincarnation, that you're only here once and then you go to a heaven or a hell or a level of heaven, at the end, then, this is where this comes into, because I was taught in my religion growing up that you basically went to a specific level in heaven. And so that was it. Like, it's a one and done. Wherever you go after this, that's where you're stuck for time and all eternity. Why are we all whining? Why are all the dogs whining? That's the real question here. I seriously have my one puppy crawling around on the floor and my other dog whining. I don't really know. I want to say there's some like weird energy thing going on right now. And I don't know if it's because the weather's starting to pick up or what's going on. The full moon bothering you? Who knows? Okay. We'll have to work on the dog when we're done. All right. Next one, the fourth one. What you give out is exactly what you receive. This one kind of comes back to karma. But if I'm thinking negatively about someone, then I'm going to get that same negative energy back. So that one's really important as well. Don't gossip. Don't slander. Don't judge. I talked about this one a little bit on my group earlier. I posted the link for you in case you want to go check it out, because I actually went through how to use these laws of universal energy as long as you're living in an alignment with them, how you can use them for benefiting things that you want to have happen for you, or if you're working on a specific situation that you need help with, you can align yourself with these. And so you can go to my Facebook group that I posted a link for. So what you give out is what you receive all day long. The fifth one, good deeds are carried out and come over from past. And whenever we do something that's not good, we have the ability to readdress past mistakes. It's all about learning. It's all about learning. It's about not the mistake you made, but what did you learn from the mistake you made? What did you get from it that you can now help yourself to elevate to this higher level consciousness? What did I learn from it that I now know that I didn't know before? Okay. It's not about beating yourself up over what you did. We've all done things that were like, oh, and the point is you can't erase things that happened from your past, but what we want to do is we want to remove the trigger that we feel when we think about things from the past. And we want to look at our past and say, wow, I learned from that, instead of looking at the past and being like, woe is me, that was so traumatic, or I did this, I'm so dumb, I can't believe that I made that mistake. No, you look at the past and be like, wow, I've learned a really good lesson from that decision that I made. Okay. Now the kid's going to get involved. Now we're going to hear yelling and screaming and dogs. All right. 6, we are all one. Okay. What does that mean? It means that when you think of it as you're playing on a soccer team, okay? Playing on a soccer team. We are all one in this team, right? If another person on my team has the ball, I don't go after them and steal the ball from another person on my team. That's what it means, is we are all one. Ultimately, we are all one level of consciousness. And Tayson, hey buddy, come here. I'm live right now. So could you do me just like a super huge favor and not be super loud with the puppy, or shut my door? No, because I'm 6 years old and my ears are somewhat disconnected from my ability to hear. Thank you. Alrighty then. Okay. So we're all one. We're one consciousness. So what we do is affecting not just us. It's affecting the entire energy of the globe as a whole. Guys, this one is so easy to see right now, because you can look at everything that is going on in the world and we can see how ununiformed we are, and the chaos, the wave of chaos that is happening every single day. So we give up worldly attachments for service and compassion to help others to elevate and vibrate on this higher level of consciousness. Now, I'm going to say this one, and this has really been resonating with me today, because in the world that I come from, where there are lots of people that do what I do, I get bombarded a lot with people telling me that I don't charge enough for what I do. And they're like, oh, you're downplaying how you're worth because you don't charge enough for a session. So currently I charge $47 for a 1-hour session. And So people will tell me that, or coaches and whatever, like, I'm not charging enough for my session. So I'm not, it's a reflection of some hidden energy that I need to release that makes me feel like I'm not valuable enough to charge more than that. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. I charge $47 a session because for me, I can financially charge have people pay $47 for a session, but also because my goal here and my passion here is to help other people to evolve and vibrate on this higher level of consciousness. Not everybody has $500 to pay for an hour session to help them to be elevated to this higher level. Okay. So for me, and I'm not saying that other people shouldn't do that. If they're aligned with it and it aligns and feels right for them to charge $500 an hour for a session, then by all means they should. But there are a lot of people that don't understand why I do what I do, and they view it as me not, having the self confidence to charge at this higher level. When in fact, I'll tell you right now, my $60 or my 60, man, can I just tell you, this is the beauty of being a mom, is that you can detach yourself from complete chaos that is going on in your home and still be fully aligned to do a complete live training on Facebook and social media. Is what I'm seriously hoping is that chaos is not as loud for you as it is for me. Okay. But yes, I could easily charge $4,000 for a 60-minute session. I am worth $4,000 for 60 minutes. Okay. I just know that people can't always afford to do that. All right. 7, free will. You have free will. Nobody is making you do anything. The 7th law of universal energy is you choose to act on whatever that is. Choosing to act on anger, choosing to act on frustration. Okay, let's use my kid as an example right now. I am choosing to be irritated by my child. I am choosing not to get angry at him and freak out and go crazy. Okay. Choosing to act on empathy, choosing to act on positive actions, choosing to act on love, choosing to accept the fact that I know that my child is 6 years old, and to him, running around and being chaotic with the dog is just fun, right? It's fun. And it's not going through his head right now. My mom is on Facebook and nobody can hear what she's saying. Like, he's not at that mental cognitive level to really understand that fully. Like, he can for a minute if I go tell him, but it's not really sticking, right? Because then the dog gets going again and then he gets like all going again, whatever. Okay, 8. 8th law of universal energy is a lot like the one we talked about. It's living in harmony with people. So it's coming back to that, like living together as whole. Living in harmony is the path to enlightenment. Thinking a bad thought about another person is thinking a bad thought about yourself. There really is a really reflective connection to that. So I've had a person before where I was really struggling with them emotionally, relationship wise. This is a family member, and their reactions to me were not something that I could really understand until I brought this law in, realizing that the way they were acting towards me was really a reflection of how they were feeling about themselves. And it really stemmed around a lot of jealousy and a lot of, just being angry. And so thinking a bad thought about another is really thinking a bad thought about yourself. And I'm laughing a little bit because now I have the dog in here and the kid outside in the foyer, like calling the dog. Hey, buddy, do you want to take Sprout outside or something for a minute? Oh, Tayson, do you have a dog bone in your mouth? Is that a dog bone? Okay. Okay, take the puppy though, because mommy's trying to do a thing on Facebook. Oh, don't let him lick your mouth. Okay. Hallelujah. I am in harmony with my life. So yeah, whatever you think about another person, you're just giving energy to yourself. So it's not worth it. That's the word I'm looking for. It is not worth it. Not worth the amount that it costs you energetically. 9, what you resist is what you attract. I see this one a lot with people that are in pain. And I'm like, one of the things you have to do is accept your pain. And they're like, what? Accept your pain. Accept it. Because when you resist it and you're constantly telling yourself that you don't want to feel it, and you're constantly reminding yourself and you're trying to resist it instead of feeling it, then you actually create it more of an attraction to it. So, feeling it instead of shoving it back actually makes it start to dissipate. So when I'm working on myself and I'm really wanting to get through something really painful, I will sit and I will feel it. I will feel it every ounce and every molecule of my cell. I will allow that pain to come. I will accept it, and you will notice immediately that it starts to release because you stop resisting it. That one we can go into for days on end because it's a really big one that we really do. We attract whatever we're resisting. So for those of you that have underlying negative core beliefs about abundance, you are actually wanting cognitively to attract something, but subconsciously you're resisting being able to attract that. 10, energy flows in the direction of your attention. So what you become is what you attract. So energy flows in the direction of your attention. If I wake up every morning and I give myself a sob story about how pitiful it is that I have to live this way, how pitiful it is that my house is messy, how pitiful it is that my kids are not listening, whatever, right? Sob story of the day. That is exactly what I will attract. I will attract my kids not listening more. I will attract my house being messy. I am basically aligning myself to be exactly what I'm complaining about. That's why complaining is such a toxic activity, is because you will attract whatever you're complaining about, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? Because you don't like it and you're complaining about it, but then you're basically giving it to yourself more. A lady that I'm reading a book on, I'll share it with you when I actually get the physical copy of it. But I love her. Like, there's this fine line in energy healing where like energy healers are all love, passion, yada, yada. But we're still human beings. And I love her approach because she's like, sure, you can sit there all day and be like, oh, I'm so lonely and I live in my house alone and I don't want to go out because I'm so lonely. And she's like, you can use that as an excuse all day long, or you can open your window and look outside and see how many millions of people there are, and you're really not alone. So stop telling yourself that, because it's just an excuse to not move forward and just stay in this yucky place that you're in. And I love that approach, but right, for some people, they're so marshmallowed and they're so used to pitying themselves that they're like, oh my gosh, someone just talked like that to me. And when in reality, sometimes we do need a little slap. Like, stop waking up in the morning and doing woe is me, and have it in your head, I'm going to do something different, because doing something the same every day is not a change. You're never going to change anything. Don't expect something magical to happen for you when you're not willing to give any energy into it yourself, right? You just sit around, you're waiting for someone to fix it for you. It's never going to happen. Okay. 10, energy flows. Nope, we did 10. Energy flows in the direction of your attention. We're on 11. Your path here is planned. Your path here is planned. Okay. It is necessary for what you need individually to achieve and evolve to higher level consciousness. For a while, I was along the lines of when stuff started happening to me that were not good, like when my husband died. What did I do wrong? Why am I being punished? When my daughter died, what did I do wrong? Why is God punishing me? Nobody's punishing you. This isn't a reward system. I mean, when it comes to karma and keeping in balance, then yes, you do something, that's what's going to come back. But as far as some of the things that are happening to you in life, they need to happen for you. They're not happening to you. They're happening for you. So readdress why you're looking at it. Why did this happen to me? How did this happen for me? How did this happen for me? My daughter passed away. How did this happen for me? That's a hard one, right? Because you're like, whoa, am I saying that I don't care that she died? No, that's your cognitive brain getting in the way. No, I'm not saying that I think it's great that she passed away. No, I'm not. I'm choosing to ask, how did this happen for me? It happened for me so that I can help other people to get to a higher level consciousness by helping them address their own traumas. That's how it happened for me. Okay. 12. The path to enlightenment is unconditional love. No ex. What does unconditional love actually mean? Now, before I really got into deeper, higher level conscious thinking, I was like, oh, it just means that I love everyone. I love everyone. That's not what is that? What does that mean? I love everyone? That means nothing to my cognitive mind. So what does it mean to what does unconditional love mean to your cognitive mind? It means that you have no expectations of other people. Woo, that's a hard one. Without those expectations, you can't be angry or upset with anyone ever. No expectations of other people. You have no judgment or desire to change others. That's a big difference between what I thought unconditional love was and what it actually is. I'm like, oh, unconditional love means that I serve everyone and I'm people pleasing is what I tribally was taught unconditional love was. People pleasing? No, it's not. You just don't have any expectations or judgments for other people or desire to change anybody. You do your own thing and you let other people do their own thing and you don't worry about what they're doing. And if someone does you wrong, you're just like, oh, whatever. I don't have an expectation for them. People can't do you wrong if you don't have an expectation for them. You know, I choose to be upset with someone or I choose to not. Okay. 13, you attract your abundance or misery. 100%. Hate to be breaking it to you, but you do. You attract your abundance, you attract your misery. And you're doing that by focusing on what is not, what you don't have, what's not happening for you, it's not fair, rather than focusing on what is. So I call this focusing on the now, right in the moment now. I'm not going to look back to my past and be like, oh, this didn't happen for me. I'm not looking to my future and thinking, oh, this better happen for me. I'm looking in this moment right now. What can I do to make this happen for me in this moment now? And I'm focusing on right now, what can I do to make something better today, in this minute, in this second? And I am accepting responsibility for what is happening to me. I'm accepting responsibility for my attitude. I'm accepting the responsibility for how I choose to view what is happening to me right now. There you go, guys. That's it. Those are the 13 laws. I'm going to go through them really quick. 1, karma. Karma is the balance, but you are not in charge of the karma. Purpose is to evolve at this higher level by learning, developing, understanding what forgiveness is, unconditional love, really, not just the term you've been taught from, your parents. Learning through compassion and love instead of living in bitterness. What you give out is what you receive. Good deeds are carried over. Mistakes are there as a chance to redeem yourself. We are all one. So what you're doing is affecting everyone else. Putting out positive energy brings back positive energy. You have free will to choose. You can act on empathy, positive actions, and love, or you can be resentful and angry and live in rage. We want to live in the thought of what we think about other people is what we're thinking about of ourselves. So if I'm thinking negatively about someone else, I'm also writing out that same energy check to think negatively about myself. And if you could see the depletion and the debt that's coming from your account, you would stop doing that immediately. What you resist is what you attract. So you resist your pain, you will feel more pain. Don't shove things back. Energy flows in the direction of your attention. So if you want to be happy, you want to attract happiness, you have to be happy. Your path here is planned, so stop fighting through that. Your subconscious mind knows your entire map. It's laid out for you. Stop trying to fight it. It's not about things being fair. Why is God punishing me? You go through each experience. You meet a person. It's all about things that you need specifically to get yourself to this higher place of enlightenment. If you choose to not, view your situation like that, then yes, you know, it's happening in it's happening for no reason. So use it. Use your situation. What do I need to learn from this? Why did this happen for me? Now, why did this happen to me? And last but not least, oh wait, no, we have two. Unconditional love, no exceptions, no expectations, no judgments, no desire to change others. And the 13, you attract your abundance or misery. Focusing on what is not rather than what is will get you into trouble. So focus on the now, focusing on what do I have, what is gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. All right, there you go, guys. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, night, whatever it is for you. Now, you can go back to the very first of this video and you can see my comment because I posted a link to my group page where you can now go and you can understand that by living these laws, these 13 laws, you can now go and use the laws of universal energy to place yourself in enlightenment with things so that you can also release things, buys, tines, cords, emotional connections. You can work on relationship balancing. So go check that out. All right, you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. Bye.